History is not a river, flowing inevitably to a single sea. It is a branching delta, 1,000 streams defined by the slightest change in terrain. A grain of sand, a fallen leaf, a single decision can divert the entire flow of human civilization. We look at our world, dominated by the legacy of the West, the echoes of Rome, the philosophies of Greece, the thunder of the Enlightenment, the revolutions of America and France. It seems permanent, fated, but it was not. Our story begins not in the capitals of Europe, not in Lisbon or Madrid, but in the heart of the world's true superpower. The year is 1433, the Middle Kingdom, Ming Dynasty China. For decades, the oceans of the world have belonged to one man, Admiral Zheng He. His treasure fleet is a force that beggars the imagination, a floating city of wood and sail. Hundreds of ships, some stretching over 400 feet long, dwarf the great vessels of Europe, which are little more than wooden tubs in comparison. These Baoquan, or treasure ships with their 9 masts, have projected the power of the Dragon Throne from Vietnam to India, from the Persian Gulf to the shores of Africa. They have brought back giraffes to the Forbidden City, established trade, and demanded tribute from dozens of kings, all in the name of the Yongle Emperor. This is not a fleet of conquest, but a fleet of global dominance, a declaration that all under heaven answers to the Son of Heaven. But in 1433, the tide of history is pulling back. Admiral Zheng He dies at sea. In the Forbidden City, the political winds have shifted. The Yongle Emperor, the fleet's great patron, is long dead. His successors are besieged by a powerful isolationist faction, the Confucian scholar officials. They despise these expeditions. They see them as a catastrophic drain on the treasury, a frivolous pursuit of exotic trinkets that distracts from the real threat, the ever-present Mongols to the north. They argue for the Great Wall, not the Great Ocean. They argue for looking inward, not outward. In our reality, the isolationists won. It was a victory so total, so absolute, that it changed the world. By 1436, the new emperor ordered the voyages stopped. The fleet was left to rot in its harbors. The shipyards were dismantled. The priceless logs of Zheng He's journeys, maps that charted the known world, were systematically destroyed. China, the world's foremost naval and economic power, turned its back on the sea. It was the single greatest power vacuum in human history. Avoid that, 6 decades later, a minor Italian sailor named Columbus, bankrolled by a minor Spanish queen, would sail into with 3 tiny, unremarkable ships. But what if? What if the factional battle in the Forbidden City had gone the other way? What if a single voice, a single event, had tipped the scales? Let us posit this. The year is 1435. The young Zhengtong Emperor sits on the Dragon Throne. The debate rages. The scholars demand the fleet be burned. But the powerful eunuch faction, led by Wang Zhen, sees the fleet as their source of power, their counter to the scholars' influence. They need a victory. They need a reason to keep the ships. Wang Zhen finds one, not in trade, but in myth. He revives the ancient legend of Fusang, a mythical continent of untold wealth, said to lie somewhere across the great Eastern Ocean. The ocean no one has ever dared to cross. He does not frame it as exploration. He frames it as a quest for a land that could fill the emperor's treasury forever. The young emperor, tired of the scholars' dire warnings and seduced by the promise of infinite gold, is convinced. The isolationist edict is never written. The order is given. The treasure fleet is not to be burned, but to be refitted. A new Grand Admiral, a successor to Zheng He, is given a new mandate, not to sail west to the known, but to sail east into the void. In the spring of 1436, an armada of over 200 ships, carrying 50,000 men, soldiers, artisans, scholars, and farmers, weighs anchor from the port of Liujiagang. They carry China with them: rice seedlings, silk, porcelain, iron tools, cannons, and books. They sail past Japan, past the edge of any known map. They are sailing into the terrifying, unbroken expanse of the North Pacific. For months, they are lost. They are battered by storms that would have sunk any European vessel. The men, accustomed to navigating the monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean, are terrified. They whisper that they have sailed off the edge of the world into the realm of sea monsters, but the fleet is too large to fail. Though they lose ships, most endure. Then, one morning, after 93 days at sea, a lookout high in the rigging of the flagship screams, "Land!" Not a small island, but a continuous green coastline stretching north and south as far as the eye can see. In the late summer of 1436, the dragon banners of the Ming dynasty float in the breeze of a wide, foggy bay. They have anchored in what our world would one day call San Francisco. They have found the New World. The immediate consequence is one of profound confusion. The admiral and his soldiers disembark, not to the welcome of a sophisticated civilization like India, but to small, scattered tribes of hunter-gatherers. The native peoples, in turn, can only stare in mute terror. They are not witnessing ships, they are witnessing floating mountains. They are not seeing men, they are seeing gods, or demons, descending from the ocean. The Ming, following their established protocol, do not immediately attack. This is not the entrada of a conquistador, hungry for personal gold. This is the calculated state action of a bureaucratic superpower. The admiral establishes a fortified perimeter. He names the new land Dongdaju, the great eastern continent. The bay itself is named Exahan, the peaceful west, signifying the new western boundary of the emperor's dominion. Gifts are exchanged. The Ming display their power. A single cannon shot shatters a massive redwood. The local tribes, possessing nothing to rival this, perform the only logical action. They submit. They offer tribute. Furs, intricately woven baskets, and small amounts of gold, panned from the rivers. Gold. That is the word that seals the continent's fate. A small, fast portion of the fleet makes the perilous return journey, using the favorable currents they have now charted. They arrive in Nanjing in 1438. They present the emperor with strange red-barked wood, dried plants of corn and squash, and a chest filled with gleaming gold nuggets. The court is electrified. The isolationist faction is not just defeated, it is humiliated. Fusang is real. The emperor, vindicated, orders the immediate colonization of Dongdazhou. This is not the European colonization of our timeline. It is not a slow trickle of private adventurers, religious dissidents, and second sons. It is a massive, state-sponsored, centrally planned migration. Within 10 years, the city of Xi'an is a bustling Ming port. Its hills fortified, its harbor filled with junks. Tens of thousands of Han Chinese settlers, landless peasants from the crowded provinces of Fujian and Guangdong, are transported across the ocean, given land, and put to work. Exploratory parties, protected by disciplined soldiers with crossbows and hand cannons, push inland. They move south, following rumors of greater civilizations. In the 1450s, they cross the deserts and climb the mountains. They arrive in the Valley of Mexico. Here, they do not find scattered tribes. They find the Aztec Empire. This is a clash of ages. The Aztecs are a sophisticated, powerful, militaristic civilization. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, is one of the largest cities in the world, a marvel of engineering. But they are a Bronze Age empire. Their weapons are obsidian and wood. Their warriors are brave, but they are facing the disciplined, steel-armed, gunpowder-wielding armies of an Iron Age superpower. And the Ming bring something else, something even more devastating than cannon. They bring horses. The sight of a cavalry charge, a man encased in iron, riding a beast never before seen, shatters the psychological foundation of Aztec warfare. But again, the Ming do not follow the path of Cortés. They do not charge blindly. They are bureaucrats. They are strategists. They see the political landscape. They see the seething hatred the surrounding tribes, like the Tlaxcalans, have for their Aztec masters. The Ming do not conquer Tenochtitlan. They liberate it. They forge an alliance with the Tlaxcalans, arming them with steel weapons. When the Ming army, reinforced by tens of thousands of native allies, lays siege to the city, it is a foregone conclusion. The Aztec Empire is broken and absorbed, its administrative structure simply repurposed to serve a new master. The emperor in Beijing, not Montezuma, is the new god king. The year is 1474. While this is happening, what of Europe? In our world, this was the dawn of the Age of Discovery. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 had cut the Silk Road, forcing Europe to find a new path to the riches of the East. In this timeline, the riches of the East have come to them. Ming trading posts, already established in East Africa, now swell with goods from their new continent. Silver from the mountains of Nanju, South America. Vast quantities of gold, new dyes, and strange foods. European merchants in Venice, Genoa, and Lisbon do not need to fund desperate voyages into the unknown. They simply sail to the Ming ports in Mombasa or Malacca and trade on Chinese terms. There is no incentive for Columbus. There is no need for Vasco da Gama. The question, can we reach the Indies by sailing west, is meaningless. The Indies are already east, west, south. They are everywhere. The world's oceans are a Ming lake. Spain and Portugal remain consumed by their regional struggles. England is a damp, cold island known for its wool. The very concept of a Western global empire dies in its cradle, and then comes the Great Dying. This, perhaps, was inevitable. Eurasian diseases, smallpox, measles, influenza, are unleashed upon the native populations of the two continents. The pandemic is apocalyptic. Tens of millions die, perhaps 90% of the original inhabitants. But the Ming reaction is not that of the Spanish. It is not seen as God's judgment. It is seen as a profound logistical problem. The empire has just acquired two continents, rich in resources, and the entire labor force has vanished. The solution is immediate and massive. The imperial program of Hanfu, or Han resettlement, begins. The government of Ming China, with its sophisticated, centuries-old bureaucracy, organizes the largest human migration in history. Not as slaves, not as convicts, but as colonists. Millions of Chinese families are offered free passage and fertile land in the New World. By the year 1600, the coastal regions of Beizhou, North America, and Nanzhou, South America, are populated by tens of millions of Han Chinese. The surviving indigenous peoples are not exterminated, but are absorbed. They exist as a permanent underclass within the rigid Confucian hierarchy, their cultures and languages suppressed, their children educated in Mandarin and loyalty to the emperor. We now move forward into the new reality this divergence has created. The year is 1800. In our timeline, the world was exploding. The American Revolution had succeeded. The French Revolution was drowning Europe in blood and new ideas. The Enlightenment had unleashed the concepts of liberty, individual rights, and democracy. The Industrial Revolution was beginning to belch smoke in the factories of Manchester. In this timeline, the year 1800 is the fourth glorious century of the Ming Restoration. The world is quiet. It is stable. It is unified. And it is utterly stagnant. The map is dominated by one power. The Ming dynasty, which never fell to the Manchu, rules an empire upon which the sun truly never sets. It stretches from Beijing to the Cape of Good Hope and across the Pacific to the two treasure continents. The West does not exist. The word Europe is a geographical footnote. It is a fractured peninsula of minor kingdoms, technologically backward, known for their quaint customs, their chaotic and violent politics, and their excellent wines, which are a luxury import for the mandarins of Examan. There is no London, no Paris, no Berlin as we know them. They are modest cities, their intellectual life dominated by attempts to translate and understand the Confucian classics. The scientific revolution never happened. Why would it? The Ming state is perfect, harmonious. It has no need for radical new ideas. Astronomy is advanced, for navigation. But the Earth remains the center of the universe, because to suggest otherwise would be to question the harmony of the heavens and the emperor's place within it. Gunpowder is used for magnificent fireworks and for carving canals, not for rifles. The printing press, a Chinese invention, is used to disseminate imperial edicts and philosophical texts, not to spread dissent. And the Industrial Revolution, it too never occurs. The Ming state has no need for labor-saving devices. It has a population base of nearly 1 billion people across 3 continents. When a canal is needed, 1 million men are conscripted to dig it. Labor is cheap, and the social order is paramount. Life in Beizhou, North America, is a life of placid order. The city of Exavan, our San Francisco, is a sprawling metropolis of pagodas and terraces, its hills covered in red-roofed temples, its bay choked with trading junks. The Great Plains are vast, state-run rice paddies, irrigated by canals that stretch for 1,000 miles. The city of Tenochtitlan, rebuilt and renamed Taipingcheng, City of Great Peace, is the continent's administrative capital, a fusion of Aztec pyramid foundations and Ming palace architecture. There is no United States, there is no Canada, there is no Brazil. There are only the viceroyalties of Dongdajo. There are no Americans. There are only subjects of the Ming. There is an incredible historical irony in this new reality. Without the European age of discovery, without the demand for sugar plantations in a new world, the Atlantic slave trade never begins. The horrific triangle of trade, guns to Africa, slaves to America, sugar to Europe, never forms. The continent of Africa is not ravaged. It remains a collection of kingdoms and trading partners, tributaries to the Ming, but left largely to their own devices. This new world, in its vast, authoritarian stability, has avoided one of the greatest sins of our own. But it has paid a staggering price. The world is a museum. There is no democracy. There is no concept of individual rights. The idea of liberty is a foreign, dangerous concept, synonymous with chaos. Philosophy, science, art, all are subservient to the state, to maintaining the harmony of a system that has not changed in 400 years. The human spirit, its messy, rebellious, innovative, and dangerous spark, has been extinguished, so we are left to reflect. A single choice in a single palace in 1435. A fleet that sailed east, not one that was burned. The result? A world without a West, a world without revolution, without the terror of the slave trade, without the chaos of industrialization. A world that is, by almost any measure, more orderly and perhaps more peaceful. But is it better? What is the value of progress? What is the price of stability? This alternate reality teaches us that our world was not inevitable. The very ideas we hold dear, freedom, equality, the right to question, are not universal human truths. They are the unique product of a specific, fragile, and chaotic history. A history that was almost stillborn. It forces us to look at our own reality, not as the end of history, but as one fragile branch on the delta. A branch that was only allowed to grow because, 600 years ago, in a distant court, a group of scholars convinced their emperor to look inward and to burn his ships. But this is just one possibility. What do you think would have happened if China's treasure fleet had discovered the New World first? Let your own theory be known in the comments. If you enjoy exploring the infinite realities of what if, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because history is never truly finished.